I can't hear either of you.
Oh,
Hmm. Well, we're just going live now with 5D All Day. I'm Danielle Kane. Welcome. I'm here with some other Spirit Calling members. So if you want to introduce yourself, Dina, and I know Nicole, you're still working on some things. So if you need to sign back in and come back, that's fine too.
yeah, she's
Okay, I'm gonna
figuring
have to
it
get back
out.
on and
Yeah,
off.
I'm
Sorry.
Dina, and I've been a member of Spirit Calling since, oh gosh, I guess probably July of last year.
Hmm.
So it's been amazing. We've had amazing conversations and discussions and all kinds of good stuff. So always glad to be here and check in.
Yeah, I love you being here too. You always bring so much to the table. And I thank you for that because there's a lot of people on this journey that I think just need to hear something to get them to feel comfortable to start sharing what's going on as well, or kind of like planting the seeds for them to realize that, okay,
Yep.
I've heard that before and just was never kind of enlightened by what someone has to say. So thank you for that.
Yeah, there's so many people that they're searching and some know what they're searching for, some don't know what they're searching for, some are open, some are not. And it's about meeting people where they are.
Mhm.
And I think these kinds of conversations help people understand, especially if they're going through any type of an awakening of any sort. A lot of times you don't know what's going on. You're like, what is happening?
Yes.
What is
Hi,
happening?
Amanda.
Hi, Amanda.
Hello.
Welcome today.
Thank you.
Yeah. We're
How
just
are
waiting
you?
for, yes, we're waiting for Nicole to get back on. She's coming in. Hopefully her volume's working okay.
We could hear her. She couldn't hear us,
Oh,
which is
technology.
technology at its best.
Yes. Amanda, why don't you share a little bit about, how long you've been with Spirit Calling and just kind of what drew you to the portal?
Yeah, so it's probably been 2 months now, I think, around there.
Oh,
But I joined because of Nicole. She is my husband's cousin. So, and we just moved close to Nicole. We live like 10 minutes from each other. So we've just been sharing experiences and like I'm really drawn to like what Nicole believes in. And so I just kind of started my own journey. And then she told me about spirit calling, and here I am.
Wonderful. That's so
Yay.
amazing. Yay.
that's how
And
it happens.
Nicole, we're just going along of how long we've been with Spirit Calling or roughly like how we got here and
Yeah.
our quick story of how we're at this place at this time.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. I mean, it is kind of crazy to think back of how it all happened, just because the journey is just so unexpected when it's something that's good for you, I feel like, because you got to have no expectations and just surrender and flow. So at
Mhm.
the time that it came to me, I heard from Danielle about it, but also it was kind of interesting because Pamela had posted, oh no, it was actually in a 5D all day. What was it? Oh, your conscious broadcast episode. That's what it was with interviewing Pamela. And she
Mhm.
talked about going to Rhythmia, that event that's like super huge retreat. And the same year she went to it, I was like this close to going that same year, but something happened that I couldn't. But it was just kind of weird. I felt drawn to Pamela at that time because we had that weird similar correlation. And then meeting Lisa and Pamela at the beginning, just the conversations were so high vibe and just felt like exactly what we needed at that specific time. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a while. So
And
yeah, it's
and if
been
I
exciting.
recall, I did a recap. I used to do recap on all my videos. I can't be around technology as much, and I want to talk to you guys about that too. But I used to do a recap of all my interviews last year. And Nicole, I asked you to be a guest on that interview for Pamela too. So that was just a random time
So
that I
random.
brought somebody else in rather than me doing my own, and kind of
So
having a
true.
collaborative one. And it was that specific one you're talking about.
Crazy.
So it was meant to
Yes.
be. It was meant to
It
be.
So
always works
true.
out that way. It
Yeah.
always works out that way.
Hmm.
Exactly. And I've been with
Mhm.
Spirit Calling for about 2 years. Pamela, I had said this multiple times. She came to my gym and she was
Ah,
looking for fitness and she ran into, someone had referred her that was at the gym. She came in and then she saw our altar and she was like, whoa, what is this place? And so she had a couple months where she trained with us. And then she talked about spirit calling, and I kind of didn't know. I thought it was just like a website, but then I didn't realize what was going on. It's much more. So it's access to all sorts of different things, such as conversations, sound healings, chat rooms, any kind of material. She does her oracle readings. So many cool things that she's created with her team. Dina, I don't know if you're part of that team. I'm sure you're on many calls. She has mentioned us to jump in. So thank you for the hard work on creating this space for everybody.
No, it's and it's a safe space. Like, there's some crazy stuff that happens, and you're like, I don't think I have anyone I can tell that to. And it can be really isolating. So it's about that community and bringing people together, accepting everyone where they are and bringing them along so that they can embrace it. Because the more you lean into it, the more it happens. And then, within a few months, you're like, why can't everyone see the world the way I see it? Like, I walk around and I'm like,
Seriously.
why can't you see what I see? And it's just helping people along the way. And that's what I love about it, because it's open form. And Nicole, by the way, I listened to your sound meditation to go to bed last night.
Yes.
Amazing. Amazing.
Thank you so much.
I love
I
them so
appreciate the
much.
feedback. Yay.
I
That's
sent
why
it
I
to
do
a
them.
friend of mine.
For that reason right there. So.
Yeah, I sent it to a friend of mine who has debilitating headaches, and she was like, I listened to it. She's like, honestly, she's like, I felt better afterwards. I'm like, it's a healing. Yeah.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
I just wanted to tell you that.
The intention's there. Thank you so much for telling me. I mean, I feel like we are always feel alone on the path because we feel like we're doing things that are, I don't know. We often use the word, we're just like so unusual, we're different, we're weird, we're all these things. And so that just like alone feeling until, I don't know the word to word this, but I feel like it's rare to hear a simple feedback of true feelings of someone's experience with that, because I feel like everyone kind of has these walls up and exteriors has something to prove. So even the simplest, just saying how it was for you is huge. I feel like in our community, especially because we do feel very isolated or alone, when indeed it's quite the opposite. We're all going through all these things together and can heal the same. So, I mean, every little thing we share together and connect means so much to me. So thank you, Dina.
You're welcome. Thank you. It's on my phone, and I pop it on all the time, but they're all good, but I love to hear that one too.
Absolutely.
Hi, Pamela.
Hi,
Hi,
Pamela.
guys. Hi, everybody. Hi.
How you
I
doing
was
today?
displaced. I was displaced in my house. I had to find a quiet place. I'm good. How are you guys?
Good. We were all just sharing how
Yeah.
we've been at with Spirit Calling and how we kind of got drawn to this portal, and just as a little introduction and explained
Oh,
some things that you've been working on to create it such a wonderful place. And so then we talked about Nicole's sound healing. So you came in at a perfect time.
amazing. That's perfect.
Yeah.
That sound healing. I mean, every month, um, they're perfect. I mean, they're just perfect every month. I know it's a strange word, but they are, because whatever we're going through, you're so in tune and tapped into the mass consciousness and what we're all dealing with on the quantum level, and then you're like able to tap into our community. You and I connect, and it's what everybody needs at exactly the time that they need it. And I listen to it every day, multiple times a day.
Yeah.
I listen to it when I'm working quietly by myself. I listen to it when I'm working with the guides, and then I'll listen to it when I'm like working around in my office, when I'm not like having to focus on, like, it's on all the time. Yeah, it's really,
That's
really
great.
good. Yeah.
Thank you so
And
much.
I think everyone should download it and make their own library in their, like, I have a Nicole sound healing library in my iTunes.
That's
So they
so
go,
cute.
Can you
Me
create that in
too.
the portal?
it is in the portal. Yeah. You
But
can
you can't create
download
your own
each.
folders, can you?
No, but you
Okay.
can download each one
Oh,
individually
yes.
and then save it to your library,
Oh, that's
which is
sweet.
really cool.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I
Very
really
nice.
loved connecting each month, Pamela, about just like kind of what's the topic. Sometimes you leave it up to me, sometimes we talk about it, but I feel like somehow, I mean, we're all
It's
connected, as
always
we know. It's always like what is going on and what everyone's kind of dealing with. So it's just been like a journey for me too, to just feel like that alignment, the intentions there, just everything. It just, I don't know. It just
Mhm.
feels so genuine and authentic with the community in general, just everything.
Yeah.
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 That's our community. That's our community,
Mhm.
period.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. So I have
Yeah.
a topic today that I'd like to talk
Ooh.
about. Hopefully you guys
Ooh.
are okay with it. It may have happened to you. You may not be aware of what this is. I'm sure that most of us know what this is, but I kind of wanted to see where you guys can describe your experience around this kind of topic. So I wanted to talk about the dark night of the soul. So if
Ooh.
you're not familiar with that, we can all kind of express what we feel that might be have been in our life, or we could just listen in if it's never happened or we're not quite sure what it is. Um, a lot of times I've seen this is mostly a painful yet the most transformative experience that someone goes through. And so in my awakening personally, I would say that it was definitely a dark night of the soul for me. And I came back out a newer person and I was like almost like catapulted to a higher frequency, a higher level than I was. And I know I didn't have to shift back down to where I was. I was now like almost reborn. So that's how I
Mhm.
kind of see the dark night of the soul. But I wanted to
Mhm.
see what you guys felt about it, about this topic. Who would like to go first?
I mean, I can share. I mean, mine wasn't as dramatic because I've always been like semi-awake. My mother was very much into it, but I would say it was in 2018. I was out west and had been with my company. I don't know, it was probably just about 5 years. We were getting ready to exit. We had built it to almost $1 billion company. And we had some new people come in, not necessarily, let's say, kind of a boys' club. And so all of the women were like feeling this weirdness and just didn't align with their energy at all. And I left, and then COVID came in, and it was it was like, oh my God, COVID came in. I just exited this. I'm in Portland, and we were stuck in the house, and it just grew from there. Where I remember it just kept hitting, and I remember one day just being on my bathroom floor, sitting down, and just like, what am I missing? What am I missing? And not being able to sleep and tossing and turning. And then slowly I just started coming out of it and gradually started reading some things. And then that led me down another path and another path and another path. And
Mhm.
then literally, we moved to Atlanta. It was in the middle of COVID. And I'm driving to work one day. And all of a sudden, my iPhone just popped up the autobiography of a yogi, a
Mm.
book
Mm.
recommendation. I've never had a book recommendation. I'm like, oh, what is that? The next day, I'm driving down probably 3 days later, and I hear a business podcast, and they're talking about memoirs of our autobiography of a yogi, which was Steve Jobs' most favorite book. And I'm like, what is this? I've never even heard of Paramahansa Yogananda in my entire life. Like, what is this? The 2 weeks later, it pops up in my feed again. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? I'm going to get this damn book and read it.
Yeah.
I started reading the autobiography of a yogi. And then I heard a podcast, and I was drawn to this woman, a friend of mine now, Kristen Newman, and she and I got on together, and she's doing a reading for me. And she's like, Dina, you were born open, like you're very spiritual. You need to get really in touch. And she's like, all of a sudden she's like, she started crying, and she's like, whoa, one of your guides is so close to me. She's like, I can't even handle the energy. And tears just started streaming down her face. And Kristen's like, I don't know who this is, but wow, he is so glad. And I'm like, who is it? Who is it? Who is it? And she's like, I don't know. I don't know the name. It's something with a P, and a Y. And I'm like, oh dear Jesus, if she even what I think I literally pulled up the phone. I pulled up the book on my phone. And she's like, I gotta Google it because I don't know who this is. she Googles it and we both went like this at the same time. And I said, is it Paramahansa Yogananda? She's like, yes, he's glad you bought his book.
Wow. I just got
Wow.
chills.
Me too.
And my head like blew off, like at that moment, hers blew off. She's like, oh my God, I can't help it. This stuff is so cool. Like I amaze myself. And that's kind of
Wow.
how it started. And I started listening to podcasts, which is then, you go down the rabbit hole of I need to know everything now.
Mhm.
And then I was it was Nicole Frolick's podcast where I heard Pamela, and I was like, same thing, days. Reach out to Pamela, reach out to Pamela. I'm like, how the heck are we gonna reach out to Pamela? And I just went to Spirit Calling, and Lisa actually connected us. And then she didn't show up, and Pamela and I met. From then, we've been like
The best of friends.
yeah.
And like we weren't supposed to meet until that karmic job was done. And then an elevation happened. And the next phase started. I mean, it's unbelievable how spirit works. And
Unbelievable.
how these guides come in and you listen and you put the energy behind them. Like that's the listening. You hear it, you gotta listen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gotta do it,
Yeah.
You
That's
think
so
you're
cool.
crazy, but
That is a really great story. Thank you
that's
for
how it
sharing
started.
that.
That got me back in the path, because I grew
Yeah.
up and my aunt and my mother were very, like, we had psychics over all the time and we talked about the other side, and it was very much in my household. But then you get busy with career and things and you pull away from it. So I guess it was time to come back.
Yeah. And it was like
Clearly.
it was just kind of like that crossroads. I also see it as a crossroads, the dark night of the
Yeah.
soul. So it's like boom, and then
Yeah.
there you were in the alignment that you needed to make in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to sit in this, you have to sit in the suffering.
Yeah.
You do.
So you don't get to understand it until you sit and go through the suffering. There's only one way.
Yeah.
And that clarity comes after that.
Yep.
And you can't go back. You literally can't. I mean,
You can't.
your vibration raises, like you said, Danielle. You catapulted. Yeah. Your frequency changed, your perspective, your understanding. And so
Yeah.
and you elevated. And it's like seeing Technicolor, then you can't see that anything but that. It's what you see now. It's just the way you see now.
Like you
Mhm.
can't unsee what you saw.
Right.
You cannot see what you
Absolutely.
saw.
And then you want everyone to see what you saw,
Oh yeah.
but
And that's
they're
what
not
we're
always
talking
there.
about.
And you have to be okay. You have to deal with
Yeah.
that too, and be like,
I
what do you
think
mean?
that's a whole chapter in itself. I think
It
Nicole and I went
is.
down that road where we're like
Yeah.
screaming at people and we're like, this isn't good. This isn't the way we're
Yeah.
supposed to
It's
help
not
people.
how to do it.
But that's what you
Exactly.
feel
Yeah.
like. You feel like I said to
Just wanna
somebody, if you
shake
guys ever
them.
watch the vampire movies where they're like newborns and they go out and they're kind of like, they don't know how to behave. They're
Raw
crazy.
nerves.
Right. They're like, oh my gosh, they're just on a frenzy. Right. And it's like until you kind of, but that's what it feels like. You're going through 1,000 rabbit
Mhm.
holes. You're trying to figure it out. You're trying to tell everybody everything. And then it's like finally like you
That's
reel
true.
it in.
Right?
Well, yeah, it gets to the
Yeah.
point where you can't ignore it. Like Dina was saying, it's like
No.
coming up again and again and again, but it's only until we actually do the work that we see it and take that and change it, transmute it into the energy it needs to be. So like that experience in itself, I feel like we have to give ourselves so much more grace and encouragement for that whole thing, because that is the specific like pivotal point to the whole next fractal of your life. Like that is so huge. And so I just feel like we all really need to sit with that and just feel thankful and grateful for being able to have the awareness and the emotional, just everything for that, to be able to go through that. You know what I mean? So I don't know. We
Yeah.
don't give ourselves enough credit for going through
I
these
agree.
night of the souls.
Absolutely.
That's everything.
It
Absolutely.
is. It is. And can I say something really quickly that speaks to that? Yesterday, I had lunch with someone that I met in 2020 who was through this conscious community. Having met him, I met Nicole Frolick. I got on Nicole Frolick's podcast, and I met metaphysicians, and the whole ethereal thing happened. I met him. I met Tim. He was a connector to make all these things happen. I've never met him in person. And I met him for lunch yesterday for the very first time.
Yeah.
And right before I had lunch with him, I sent an email out to a shaman that I had that was pivotal in I think it was 2017 or 2018, in like the beginnings of those times, Nicole, that you give yourself that compassion and reflection on the work that you did, how you powered through that fear to do something you'd never heard of, you didn't understand, it was expensive, but you felt a call, you felt the call to do it. And I've been feeling like I want to invite her to the community for a long time, but I knew it wasn't right until Monday. I sent her, whenever I had lunch with this guy, I sent her an email on Monday, and I invited her in a loving way, told her I wanted to highlight shamanism and many other modalities with this new concept that I'm creating for this network. And I sent it off. I have lunch with him. I come back and I'm going to make a social post. I'm going to get the books that he's written and a gift that he gave me to write about him. I go down to pick up the book, and in it, something's sticking out. I open it up, and it's the report from the shamanic journey that I did with this shaman that I haven't seen this report in years. And I was like, Pamela, every one of us, you look back at that former self of yours and you give yourself credit, you give it love, you give that version of yourself so much compassion, like you just said, and love for stepping in and stepping forward on the journey and doing it and continually doing it. It's just the coolest thing. I think that speaks to what you said, Nicole. And it was like a reflective moment. I have that report out and I'm going to read that damn thing. And you know, one of the highlights I had scribbled on the top was be more creative, be more creative and paint more. I went for a walk right after that. And something that always reminds me to paint is a peacock. I'm walking down the street. I'm walking past the houses I walk past every day. And one of them plunked a peacock in their front lawn. And I was like, okay, I hear you. I'm getting the signs. Thank you. You know,
once you lean into it, you get more and more.
More and more and
Yes.
And more and more. I started testing it then. And she had also on this call was like, also Merlin is one of your guides. And I was like, oh, come on, Merlin. I said, so I'm driving to work. And one day I got up and I said, okay, Merlin, if you're around, the only way I know you is from the movie Excalibur. I need to see something at night. I need to see something. And I'm driving down the road and I'm going around a roundabout. And on the other side of the roundabout, I swear, I have the picture I can show you. A truck pulls up next to me, Excalibur renovation.
Get out.
I literally almost crashed my car.
Honestly.
And I'm like, okay.
You know, that makes me laugh because I was just on my last podcast, we were talking about coincidences and how we don't believe in coincidences. They're supposed to happen. And I was like, I loved Alanis Morissette and her song Ironic. And I'd call everything ironic. And my husband's like, it's not ironic, it's a coincidence. And now I'm like thinking, maybe it really truly is ironic.
Right.
Don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
But yeah, to be able to have those signs, to be able to validate, really it's validation, right, of your path. And like, okay, we need all these signs because we almost can't believe it could be real for us sometimes when we can't physically see it, but there's a knowing there. So that's really neat that you got that to witness that.
Everyone can. You just have to lean into it. And then it's like, whoa, it just blows your mind.
Yeah, I feel like that's what I'm currently going through. Like on this beginning of my awakening journey, like there's just so much stuff happening lately that I just over and over again. I'll just look at my husband. I'm like, can you believe this? Like, it's freaking weird and it's powerful and it's cool. And I don't know. Oh my gosh, it's an exciting journey to be on.
It is exciting. You come to me all the time. I just don't reach out to you because I don't want to freak you out, but you come to me all the time.
Wow, and please reach out.
I know. And I'm always thinking of you. Like you're always just popping in. So, and that means that those things are happening to you. That means you're like, you know, when I saw you the first time, your eyes, it's ready to just explode with you. And you're right now going through your major shift and you're dealing with the wanting to scream it from the rooftops or from the mountaintops. And like, you know, she's the baby that just got born, like you just said, Danielle, and she's
exactly. It's that newborn child. You're like, everybody, don't you see it?
It's so true. Okay, just I'm not lying.
Oh my gosh, you took a picture. I love it.
That's so funny.
Well, and Amanda, the great thing about being new to it is like life is like it's almost like you stepped into like a more vibrant reality. And so enjoy that, because that's where it's like amazing. And if you like to journal, write anything down. And then, you know, you have Nicole, like someone who's been through this before. It's so nice to have somebody that you could go and talk to them like in person as well, for things that you kind of slowly want to plant seeds to like share to others. Cause that's really what we are too. We are beacons of light that need to express. That's why we're talking right now, because ultimately someone's going to hear this at some point and be like, I kind of feel the exact same thing that they're talking about.
Yeah.
And I keep being told over and over and over again, I'm supposed to help share people's stories, and it's going to magnetize and get bigger and expand like the universe. So
Oh, it
I'm so
is,
glad.
girlfriend. It
Yeah.
is.
I'm so glad to be here with all of you strong
It's
ladies,
happening.
because each and everybody's position right now in the universe is just right. And it's a big time, as you guys all know. It's a powerful year. And so we just got to keep shining our light. And it's just amazing. It's amazing the networks that we're creating with each other.
I remember the
Yeah.
day I called Pamela and I was like, listen to this. I don't know. It just came out of me. I don't know what it is. And it was, she's like, that's light language. And I'm like,
Mm.
what the, is it just gonna pop out whenever I'm like imagining it being at work one day and just, but like I was driving and I'm like, what is going on? And all of a sudden it just, I was like, what the hell is that?
What does it sound like?
Oh, you brought it up now, sister.
Oh, yeah, it sounds in a lot of different ways. Mine's a little bit more shamanic-y.
Mm-hmm.
But it can be all kinds. Like then I learned there's Palladian, there's, there's Syria from Syrian, like it's crazy. And
Yeah.
of course nobody knew about it, but my sister was in the car with me the other day and I was, she's very much into this stuff. So I was telling her about it and she's like, what do you mean? Like, so I started doing it and she's like, okay, you are freaking me out right now. She's like, can you control it? Like, what does it say? And I'm like, I have no idea what it means. It just comes through.
Yeah.
How do
I
you
would
do
love
that?
to hear it one day. You don't have to do it now, but I want to hear it. I'm so
When you're
curious.
doing it, you can ask them to intuit you the meaning of it. So it'll happen simultaneously
Okay.
while it's coming through. And every dimension, every frequency has its own. So when the beings would come in, they would talk through their light language, and all of it was different. Some of it was very like very
Weird.
tonguey, and some of it just sounds like another language. And it also has a symbol associated with it. So they all
Beautiful.
have,
Beautiful.
yeah, yeah, it's so
Some
neat. And
people do artwork
it
with
looks
it.
like hieroglyphics. It looks like
That's
some
cool.
of our languages that are built on symbols. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess they all are, but
Yeah.
letters are symbols, but more of like the intricate kind of scripty looking, picturey looking
It's
ones.
packets of information.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
weird because
That common sound.
you can't make it up. Like it's too fast and too
Yeah.
weird. Like you
Does it
can't
come out
say-
like at random times, or you
I
just know
can
you can produce the sounds
I can
of the light
I
language?
just I can either call it in or I can sometimes feel if it wants to come out and like it'll do it in the shower. So my husband has he's
Like,
not
what is that sound in the
I
shower?
just love her so much.
They
I'll
say
be
the
like
shower
looking
though
out
is
the
like
shower
where
like
all the stuff
shit.
happens in the
It's
shower.
where it happens for me too, because it's a
Yeah.
conduit. The water's
Yeah.
a conduit.
In the car, outside when I'm walking the dog, when I
Yeah.
can,
Yeah.
So far I've been able to keep it.
Your husband's like peeking around the corner on the shower, like, what's going on in there?
He can only take little bits along the way before but it's weird, like weird things like that. Like, what is that?
Everyone can do it. You just have to ask.
Well,
And
even just through our
Anyone can
speaking
do it.
voice and singing and just
Yeah.
carrying vibrations, just being, we
Yes.
are shifting and creating the vibrations to be what it needs to be. Sometimes it doesn't even have to have a meaning. It just needs the sound to express. And that can change the frequency of the environment, your inside, everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of the animals on the planet, birds, dolphins, all of the sea animals, holding the vibration of our planet in harmony, just simply by vocalizing with intention. That's literally
So true.
everything.
You need to talk about that on your awakeners hour, because it's so
I know.
so
Don't even get me
cool.
started.
I know.
Yeah, you definitely do. That's so cool.
Well, it's so amazing. People have like talked about what was it, Nicole? You had talked about it before with the whole water experiment.
Yeah, Dr.
Mm.
Emoto.
Dr.
Yeah.
Emoto. A lot of people
That's
have talked about how they're, really actively talking to their plants, maybe even their garden,
100%.
or
Oh
obviously
yeah.
their you just brought your
Exactly.
puppy. But
They're animals.
I
Oh
really,
my
really,
gosh.
my sick cat is
Mhm.
still sick, but she's hanging on, and every day I'm just like really just sending her love for whatever her path is. But I feel like
Mhm.
that's something that's really coming to the forefront is our
Yeah,
intention and our communication. And it could be verbal,
absolutely.
nonverbal, whatever it is.
Mhm.
It's definitely making a difference.
It
Mhm.
is.
Even this
And
conversation alone, even if it's not being heard, the conversation being held
Mhm.
holds that whole packet of information, and we are shifting literally a planet as we're speaking together right now. We most likely have contracts that we wanted to do this together at this time because it's what the energy needed. It's so
Mhm.
beautiful.
Yeah.
it
It's
is, and
amazing.
it's gonna grow.
Definitely.
It's
And it's 333.
yes,
Oh
I
I
just
just
saw that.
yeah.
said.
I
Three
I saw
just
three
saw
on the
that.
111.
East
That's
Coast.
so funny.
What?
It is. It is. Daniel, where do you live?
I live in New Jersey.
Oh,
I
you're in New
live,
Jersey. Okay.
yeah, just about what was it, 5 miles from Pamela, where she used to
Oh,
live.
okay.
Yeah, right outside of Philadelphia.
Yeah, literally, I
I
could
live
like
in
a
Philly.
10-minute drive, 15-minute drive to Philadelphia Airport.
Okay. I
So,
thought you were.
where are you located?
I'm in Atlanta. My office
Oh,
is in Boulder, so
ooh,
near
yeah.
Nicole in Colorado.
And so, Amanda, you're in Colorado too, then.
Yeah, like
Now,
10 minutes from Nicole.
are you in the same
That's so
town?
nice.
Yeah,
Pretty
Oh,
much.
nice.
Yeah,
I got to make my way back to Colorado. I didn't have enough time
yeah, you
I have
do.
a
to get
Gotta
feeling
back
get
we'll
to
to
the
you guys.
mountain.
get there.
Yeah, I have a feeling we'll all be going back there.
Yeah, we're all going
Yeah,
to Colorado somehow. Sign
coming
me
up.
up.
Going to the mountains.
Well,
We're
I
going to be in
really
the
would
mountains.
love to meet all of you guys in person. There is
Hmm.
something about getting together and being ourselves. I just entering a room and not having to feel like I have to like, I don't
Yeah,
know, just stay
So true.
either like not say too much or just, show
No
up,
right.
judgments.
Yeah,
but like show up and actually be able to
absolutely.
like
And
celebrate
just
where we
be,
are.
Yeah.
just
Gosh, we
Yeah.
should
be.
be vibrating out of our bodies, I feel like.
I know we're gonna have
I
there's
know
gonna
we
be
I feel
will.
like
like they're gonna be
even
like
in these
there's been a shift on the
conversations,
planet. There's something happening in Colorado.
seriously,
We
Yeah.
might
to the light
levitate.
bodies.
We got to go to the springs.
Yeah,
Yes,
Oh,
for
totally.
yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
You might
rejuvenate
actually
all of our.
levitate as a group. Who knows?
Yeah, no, that's
Yes.
what I'm saying.
I think that's what I was saying too.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my
Too
gosh.
funny.
Because there
That's
is
Weirder
like
things have
there
happened.
I'm gonna be seeing Dina in June and I keep saying to her, like, I can't wait to see you in person. Like I know I'm gonna just like scoop you up and like lift you up. Like I can't wait to see you in
You think
person.
I'm this big? Like,
Well,
Well, then I met
Nicole's
her.
that big. They thought Nicole
Yeah.
was my sister, and I literally felt like I
Oh,
could
That
scoop
was
her
so
up
funny. No,
too.
your daughter.
Oh, my daughter.
my
I'm sorry,
daughter.
not my sister. They're like, "Is this your daughter?" Because our truck
oh,
So
died
funny.
in our truck died in the Moab desert, and Nicole came in like an angel and rescued us
Oh,
and
so
oh,
nice.
drove us to Grand Junction because we were visiting her anyway, but she came and
Crazy
rescued
timing.
us. And then Brian was buying a truck, and the guy at the dealership was like, "Is this your daughter?" I'm
Is this
like,
your daughter?
"No, like my BFF that I just met."
I'm like up to here on her.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to meet you
Oh my
guys.
God, she's adorable. I love Nicole. She's great.
Thank you.
And
Thank
No,
you.
and her dogs too.
yeah. And her
don't
doggies
forget the
too.
Oh
food
yeah,
cheese.
they're in here.
Yeah.
Mm,
But yeah,
Yeah.
Amanda, so if you're there, it's just gonna be easy because we all just can
Heck
get
yeah.
together.
Seriously.
You'll all be shocked by my height. I'm 6'2",
Oh,
so
really?
yay!
for my viewers
See,
thinking
there's something about that. That, oh my
Pamela is
gosh.
very tall too. I mean, I'm
The
five like
light
seven and a
beams.
half, but
Yeah,
Pamela,
I'm
what are you,
5'10",
5'9"?
What is it?
5'9"-ish, 10-ish.
5'10".
But damn, I love that you're 6'2". That's
Me
awesome.
too.
That
It's
is
not.
so cool. Yeah, no, it's so cool. Like I love that I just found that out too. Because
So cool.
I can't explain it. Like so for instance, when was the crazy energy this past Monday, right?
Yeah, with the,
Yeah,
the lunar
We all
eclipse, right?
felt it, correct? And we all feel it.
I
All
did.
day I was vibing high. I even had like hard conversations because my brother's ill and like we had but I was feeling like this tall tower of light. Like I was feeling strong. I was out walking the dog in the afternoon and suddenly it was like I just got pushed down. I felt like I was like like tiny to the ground. And then my energy just went down and my face changed, everything changed. And I was walking around like this. And I realized like something like the same thing that happened last time, right? And then I reached out to Dina. And then who else did we reach out to? Megan,
Megan.
our team that we work on Spirit Calling with. And everyone was feeling the same thing. But when you're feeling in alignment and in your power and connected, you feel so vast. You feel big and powerful. And I mean, I do anyway. I feel like a giant,
Yeah.
and it feels so good and
Yeah.
so good. Yeah. So I love that you're
Yeah,
6 too. It's awesome.
sometimes I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but like I'll have these weird, like kind of out of body sensations. I think I have said this, but I do feel like I'm above my body. Like I feel
Me
like I'm
too.
taller than I am. It's
Mm-hmm.
like so hard to even explain the sensation, but I feel like I'm thinking from like up here
Mhm.
somehow. It's like super strange feeling. But
Yeah.
then if I think about it, I'm immediately back because you can't have any control. You just gotta flow. But yeah, it's so strange. I definitely know what you're talking about though, with that just like tall, heightened pillar of light is a good way to express it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
get that because I've felt sometimes like that I've entered a room before I've gotten in there,
Mm.
and someone will be like, I knew you were coming.
Mm.
Like I've had that several times. So it's kind of like I think your aura just
Yeah,
goes up and
absolutely.
out.
Or your
I know it's
energy's
very
there.
strong.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. We're
It's really
experiencing that now just by we feel like you, Amanda. I feel connected to you. Like, I feel connected to all of you, but there's something about you right now that's like coming to me. And then Dina will say to me, are you having a good day? Like out of nowhere, I'll be like, no, I'm really feeling drained too. She's like, I felt it. I knew it.
Yeah,
I
I always
just knew
know.
it. Yeah.
It's
And
really
it's
weird.
so we're all connected.
Yeah. I've had
Or
such
we'll
a
watch
hard
the same thing or
Yeah.
something.
I've
Something.
had such a hard time getting on technology. I've really just tried to stay present within like this vessel. And like I had a lot of work done actually to kind of remove some things. And like, it's a lot of this Wi-Fi, all that stuff seems to be like right now, right
Hanging
at
on.
the equinox is when I start to flare up and get inflamed. So I've just been kind of somewhat removed from the conversations I like to have, but it's just a strange time, and it's really helped though being off of it because I'm doing much
Yeah.
better. My vibration is still staying high versus,
Okay. You know that
Mhm.
place called Float? Do you know Float?
yes,
You should go
yes.
do that.
I don't know if I should.
I don't know. It's salt. It'll pull that stuff out of you.
Oh,
It'll go float in
Yeah.
the salt bath.
Well, I had done the experience once, and I don't know if we want to get into it, but I kind of had like this weird thing happen. I went.
Okay.
So I got a float for Brian because he loves that kind of stuff. And so he got one
Mhm.
for me. And I don't like chambers. I don't like darkness. I don't like
Mhm.
water. Like
Mhm.
not that I'm afraid of water. I just don't like tsunami-ish water. And I know that's from another
Mhm.
past life. Um,
Right.
but I don't like anything enclosed and I was claustrophobic and all that. Anyway, I went in and the guy's like, to have the best experience, turn off the lights, turn off the music. So I
Like say
figured I
hi.
would do that with a little bit of light outside. And when I turned everything off, it got pitch black and it was like quiet as anything.
yeah.
And
I'm in trouble just listening.
I went in and I all of a sudden was like, okay, this is good for me. So I went to go look for the light and I couldn't find it. And
Oh,
I went into a full on out of body panic experience, like banging on
Yeah.
the door, like, Tom, help me, Tom. Like I laughed because I
Mhm.
had to go back and tell Brian this was my experience and I really wanted to be relaxed. And here I'm like, yeah, I thought I was going to be left in there and they were going to have to come rescue me naked,
Never forget all
but I have
about
something
me.
very it's so funny that you brought that because I think this is the reason why you were meant to bring it up because I just had a quantum travel past life regression this past week with the woman that I've been practicing under. Her name's Laura Whitworth, and she did a session on me. And it was the first time that I was ready to explore a past life. And I actually was not trying to scare anybody, but I was chased by I was one of the victims of, satanic rituals. And I wasn't really ready to see it before, but I only could see so much. I could feel through it. I could feel that, I was in the woods running from my
Oh
predators.
no. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really powerful, but it was really it related a lot of fear that I brought into this lifetime. that I was
Mhm.
able to let go. And it also brought me to the chamber that I died in another lifetime that reminded me of the float chambers. So that's
Yeah.
why I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to go back to a float.
Maybe I'll just do something different.
Maybe get
However,
on a raft in your pool or
right.
someone's pool. Start there.
But some people find it amazing. Some people have the, past life travels in there. I just think for me, it was just something that brought up an experience. And
triggered
I
it.
think
Yeah.
I needed that experience to get me prepared for
Yeah.
that session that happened literally a week ago. So
You might
That's
be, you
interesting.
might have
isn't that
released it.
interesting?
I get
Yeah.
that though. I think it sounds lovely, but I don't know the closing of the door. And
No,
I was
I have a
so
problem with
trouble
that
breathing
too.
while you were telling me that.
Yeah. And you
Yeah.
can keep the lights on and you can keep, I would do that again, like the lights
Yeah.
on and
Yeah.
because they have all different kind of cool
They
lights,
have the
but
stuff
Cool
up
lights I
here.
could do.
yeah, cool lights and music that I would have done that again. But for me, it's just something about that space. I just am okay.
You're not ready for that yet.
I don't think I'm ready for that. And I
Or
think I have,
Maybe you
I'm
don't
still,
need that.
yeah.
Yeah.
But like, it would be interesting to see if my phobia now is gone because that was one of my enclosures was one of my phobias. And
Mhm.
the sweat lodge helped me get through the claustrophobia because the sweat lodge, I mean, we're in like
Oh,
this tiny little lodge, with like 18 people. So I've done a couple sweat lodges. This is was it my second or third. And we're bringing hot stones and then they pour the water in there and everything's covered and it's
Oh,
completely
that's
dark.
cool.
But it's an amazing, and we're singing all these Native American, some of them are peyote songs,
boy, I love
but
that.
we're led by our friend Danny, who was passed on this lodge by his uncle, who kind of adopted him. He was one of the natives that adopted him up in the Mount Shasta area where they have a lodge, and he wanted to bring the lodge to New Jersey. So yeah, it was beautiful. But the first time I walked up to the lodge, I literally went into a panic attack. I started crying. Of course, there was all males there, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't do this. I'm like, we're going in that. I'm like, are you serious? And I just lost it. But then I
Yeah, I
calmed
wouldn't be able
down,
to do that. Mm.
and it was like, I don't know where this extreme claustrophobia came from, but now
It came from past lives.
it
Absolutely.
totally makes sense. I mean,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I
Yeah.
had that happen on my hunt. I have to go after this because I have an important call up for. I have to freshen myself up for. But this happened to me when I was on my honeymoon in Italy. We climbed the Basilica in Florence, and you go up all these steps, and you're in this enclosure, and you're walking around the dome. And I was like, I gotta get out of here. I can't do this. I was like, I gotta. I had a full on panic attack. The tiny little stairs. I
Mhm.
couldn't be in this tiny little space. And then that happened again to me in Disney. They put
Interesting.
us in this, we were sitting, my husband, my kids, and I, and it closed up, and there was like glass all around me. And I was like, everyone was like, what is happening? What is happening? Like, I can't be in here. I can't be in here. Get me out of here. I can't be in here. But I would get like that in elevators, and I would get like that in small places and over bridges. But I'm watching it go away now. I'm
Yeah.
watching the bridges go away and the elevator things go away.
It's
So
scary.
you do
Amazing.
it does get better as you raise your frequency.
Well, and now
and
I feel like things are like you said, it's almost like going through that experience. It would
Releases
prepared
it.
me because it's a pretty hard life to visit.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
my guides only allowed me to see so much anyway. And I'm nearsighted in this lifetime because of that past life. I didn't want to
Wow.
see being
Anything.
I didn't want to see any of the pain of the children. I didn't want to see any of it. And it actually stunted a little bit of my growth in this lifetime too. I was very tall, lean. I always had like low body fat. And I just like never fully developed I guess for like bearing my children were always very tiny. I didn't ever really get to get my milk fully in. So there was things of so much fear being stunted in that lifetime. It was just like,
Wow.
That's
it
amazing.
was so amazing. Like
It is
I was
amazing.
just so shocked. And I think that there
Yeah.
was this fear of the children too. And so I had to kind of let that go because they are
Sure there
contracted to
is.
experience this right
Yeah.
now because we're going through this huge awakening. We're exposing all of these things now,
Oh,
all
we're
the
gonna
contract.
see all of that
There's
now
many of
too.
us children
Yeah.
who've gone through this. I'm getting chills. Many of us have
We all
gone through
have.
this, not knowing. And I think that I felt like the frequency and the energy of many of those children. Like, oh my God, are they living through me? Am I really living this lifetime? So I think we're all connected to some level.
It's
I
amazing.
believe that we all had to go through that. I believe
Yeah.
that we all had to go through
I-
that. We had
I
to
had
be that exact experience. But I have to
had
go,
that
you guys.
experience on Loveland Pass, actually, Nicole. Bye,
Bye.
Pam.
Bye,
Bye,
Pamela.
Nicole.
We love
Bye, you
you.
guys. Sorry, I
you.
love you
Yeah.
too. Bye, guys.
I literally did the same thing. We were going up Loveland Pass and there's no guardrails and we were driving and I went into a full-on panic attack with my husband. He's like, what is wrong with you? I'm like I got tunnel vision. I like couldn't do it. And I know that I was like over a cliff at some point in a past life. And then I have this thing with fire. Like my husband will videotape me checking candles like 150 times. And I was in Salem, like a witch, like
Yeah.
burned, you know. And
I
so
felt like I was too as
yeah,
well.
we probably all were
Yeah.
Yeah.
at some point.
Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of lives. So I'm sure we all have some similarities in that.
Isn't
Yeah.
that wild? It's just, yeah,
And I
it's
do believe too, to some level, there's a collective consciousness of like imprint memories. Like even if we
Oh,
didn't
for
actually
sure.
live it, we probably
Yeah.
at some point viewed the life and then it becomes like something that we need to know in order to like survive this lifetime.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
That's the
yeah,
source bank of all memories, you know, the Akashic
exactly.
records. We all share the same memories if you tap into it. But yeah, it's interesting too. If you go into regression, though, and you remember things that wasn't your actual life, that's when it kind of gets interesting. But we all share the same thing.
Yeah.
So I think it just gives us more of a opportunity to experience however that is to you. Free will really is truly how it is. And it's just going to add more to the experience. There's no right or wrong. Just live and be and experience. You know,
Absolutely.
it adds to the whole for everyone's experience, not just yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to go back to what we were talking about with technology being kind of tough lately. And I
Yeah.
feel like I I don't know if you guys remember, but I shared that that I don't know how to explain it, but it was just that thing on BitChute, I think, of the Wi-Fi changing your blood and all the things about
Yeah.
just all that.
No, tell us about it. I didn't get to read it.
Oh, it was a podcast of three people. Two of them are quantum technology inventors, like scientists, like really amazing people that have really reputable websites for technology that they're creating for free energy and just blocking EMF and harmful frequencies.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like lately I've been drawn to this type of information. Lots of things have been coming into my path for protecting yourself due to harmful frequencies. And so the website that I ended up sharing, the Leela Quantum, it's has amazing devices and technology that is just able to, you know, get yourself into a more harmonized state, because from our screens to our clothes to our food to everything, you know, it's constantly bombarding and changing our blood, our cells, our everything is being shifted. So it's really I feel like coming into my path more so now, because it is telling us to protect your energy and not to be on technology as much, or if you are, to do it in a more protective way, perhaps turning your Wi-Fi off at night, or
Mm-hmm.
any types of things like that, turning your phone off at a certain time of the day, or just things like that, so you can kind of get back to the organic frequencies. But a couple of things I have, we can show, man, did you have yours on?
Yep, I do.
Yeah, we both have these. They have little capsules of quantum healing capsules in them, and
Oh,
yeah, she'll show
Oh,
you.
hold
And
that up. Is that Leela? Did you say Leela?
yeah,
Yeah,
it's Leela.
Leila.
So
I've heard about this. Is
Like
yeah,
ooh.
so this is made of
there's
brass,
5.
and those little quantum capsules, they come with up to 5, and you can add them in here. But it really does create essentially like an
That's
EMF
awesome.
blocker
Are you
shield
selling
around
these on
you.
your website?
Not
I'll
yet,
buy
but we're
'em.
getting
I'll
there.
buy it.
I got some copper bracelets and just
Yeah.
like things to protect, because
Yeah.
we are
Yeah.
so sensitive, especially more so now, to these types of AI or not organic frequencies.
Yeah.
And so I feel like a lot of us are coming into this kind of like electroculture for gardening, like using copper in your gardens and just like
Yeah.
all kinds of things that protect the organic frequencies while repelling the things that aren't necessary. I just feel like that's really huge right now. And one of the
I
reasons
love
why
it.
we can't stay on technology so much lately is we're really sensitive to all these
And
shifts
well, I
and
think
changes
our
that are
vibration's
going
very high
on.
too. And
Oh, yeah,
anything that
absolutely.
was trying to attach, you know, is having a real hard time. And even the AI, it will do whatever it can. It'll try to find any
Right.
kind of portal
Exactly.
or whatever to get in there. But now we have a
We-
huge tower behind my house, and that was causing me a lot of problems.
For
So
sure.
I was really like, I cleared it, and I want to be able to. I have to get a copper cup. I've been told I have to have copper from my higher self. They said you need
Mhm.
to have copper, and I need to have like fresh organic berries every morning, 5 times a
Mm.
week.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It's
Putting
like very
crystals in your
the immune
water, all the
system.
things
Yeah, exactly. I'm
that
drinking
you
the
can.
spring water, which is
Good.
great. We have
Yeah.
a friend that just went to New York and went to the natural spring there, and we fill these jugs of spring
Yeah.
water that are running right from the mountains. So it's
That's
beautiful.
amazing.
My
Yeah.
grandfather used to do that every morning walk up to the spring. There was like this,
Yeah. You probably have
Wow.
some in Colorado, guys. Definitely.
yeah, I'm sure in
Yeah. I'm sure we do.
Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, in Colorado.
Yeah. It's definitely
Well, I want to know more about that. I'll have to touch base with you offline because I'm all about it.
100%.
I'm getting one.
Yeah.
No, I want to get one too. I know because I saw they have the square thingies too.
The
Oh yeah.
blocks.
Okay. The block chargers. They're a little
What are
bit more
Those are
those?
pricey, but
crazy.
it's because you're literally a free energy transmuter. You can charge any object ever to an organic frequency. You can
Really? You
literally
have one? A
They
anything.
block?
get
No, but
No,
we're
but you can
talking
like
about
put a
going in
cup
on
of
one.
water in it. Yeah, they're $1,500.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But they're
You
very
charge
pricey.
anything. You can charge your clothes,
Yeah.
you can charge your food, you can charge your meds, your
Mhm.
supplements, whatever it
Oh,
is to get
wow.
back to.
It
It's
might be
just a little
worth it
box, you put
though.
it in there. That's what I'm
It
saying. It's
says that it
infinite
has like,
energy. There's
I think it said like a mile radius. So
Hmm.
it's like you can feel the effects
your
of it. And so I'm like, should we go door to door and ask our neighbors to contribute?
Right?
I was gonna
it's
say
exactly though.
I'll be sitting under
Honestly.
it. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, we're affecting the world everywhere. But even just wearing this, I think Amanda can also say we feel more calm, peaceful, just
Mhm.
more not so like easy to be on edge, I guess, or like as sensitive to those harmful frequencies. I feel like I can breathe better, just more relaxed. I don't know.
Yeah.
okay,
It's
I'm
so
gonna check it
perfect.
out.
So perfect that you brought that up too, because
Yeah.
I was thinking of topics to talk about and something about, crystals were coming up, but I was more resonated to like hearing people's stories about, if they've had a dark night of the soul or just the topic in general, because it's been coming up here and there. So I'm glad
Yeah,
that
I think
was brought up.
it all relates because we're
It
all
could be
going
even like
through
mini conscious shifts too. Like I feel like
exactly
you're ready when you're ready. Talk about no coincidences, right? You were ready to receive
Right.
the information, or Dina, when you were ready, and it was your time.
Yep. It
so true.
totally. It was, and it's, I was always kind of, a little woo-woo with my mother and my sisters, but it was such a force. It's like you can't ignore it. You
Hmm.
cannot
So
ignore
true.
it. And my husband was like, what's going on with you? Like my brother-in-law was like, I mean, I had holly out for Christmas and it fell off and it was sitting in the front of the door. And he's like, he calls me and I'm like, what? And he's like pointing. I'm like, well, pick it up. He's like, is that your witchy stuff?
You're witchy.
Oh my gosh.
You're like,
I'm like,
no, it just
yeah,
fell on
did
the
you
ground.
look at it?
That's so
Didn't it
funny.
feel great?
But it's just you can't ignore it. You can't ignore it. And I wouldn't want to go back. Like I really wouldn't want to go back.
Amanda,
Yeah.
I'm curious, how is your husband with all of this? I mean, is he,
Oh, he's on board.
yeah, that's
Yay.
good. That's nice.
Yeah.
So it's nice to
Yeah.
have each
So
other through this process. Do you feel like he's kind of on the same page as you, waking up to all this at the same time, or what's
I
going on?
think he's a little bit behind me, but that's totally fine. I
Yeah,
think I'm
he's
like
where he needs to
encouraging
be.
him on,
Yeah.
yeah. And so he's got me and now Nicole nearby. And it's just like, we're all on this
Moving.
trajectory together. And
Yeah.
it's like every time Nicole comes over, we're just instantly into deep conversations.
Oh, isn't that the best?
So
It's the best.
Exactly.
I
Nicole,
needed
look at
that.
me,
like,
see your smile.
what are you doing after this, Nicole?
I know,
Yeah, get
right?
together. Seriously, if you guys can get
It's
together,
so
that's
true.
the best.
Yeah, we can do that.
It's so
Well, and
awesome.
what's fun too is that you always have someone that brings up something that you're like, you know, I've had people in my life that said stuff that I was not ready for. I could not resonate with it. And like, sure enough, a year later, I'm like, so that's what they were talking about. I think Nicole and I would get on conversations like, what do you think about this? What do you think about that?
So
And
true.
so it's interesting how things will get brought up. And it's just like, now you've heard it. And it's like, when you're ready for the material, it comes through or
Yeah,
you could be that person for somebody else. That's like the great thing about spirit calling, right? That's why we're
Yeah.
so
here.
true. I
Exactly. You
love
can
it.
share,
Yeah,
learn, and nobody makes you feel I
No.
remember when I used to think like,
So great.
dragons are ridiculous. Like how, I mean, that's so fantastical. Now I'm like obsessed with like, I'm like,
It's so
I've
true.
seen dragons like in my meditations. Like it's like,
Mhm.
I've had
Yeah.
dragons come in a Reiki session once, and it was a white dragon. And I looked up
Wow.
the meaning of it, and it was like the death and the rebirth. And
yeah,
it
I've
was like
seen the
I
white
knew
dragon.
exactly what was going on. But I
Mhm.
Yeah.
I
And
find
I'm like,
dragons fascinating. I really do.
I find them fascinating too. And I'm like, who am I to say there wasn't? There isn't. They're like,
They're
it's,
actually saying dragons were dinosaurs now
yeah,
too. I'm
yeah.
like, oh my gosh, like totally, right?
Blow your mind.
No,
Blow your
let's
And
get really down to it. That's chickens. They have the exact same DNA.
mind.
really?
Yeah.
Oh
And
my
if you look
gosh,
at their
I'm sure.
skeletons, they're the exact same. Yeah.
Nicole
Wow.
just got
I love it.
chickens.
I love
I
learning
did
this
just
type of
get
stuff.
some chickens. I don't think
I
I
do
shared
like
that.
chickens.
I just
I
got
do.
4 baby chicks,
Did
so
you
I'm excited.
really?
hmm
Oh my God, that's so cute. That's so
They're
cute.
the
I'm a
cutest little
geek for any of this stuff. I
Me
was
too.
listening to something about RH negative and just like what that means and how it got mutated. And I'm just,
It's so
we'll have to
true.
bring up, it's so fun. It's just so fun to
Yeah.
explore these different things. And so I'm grateful
Yeah.
that you guys jumped on
So
today.
true.
It
Yeah.
was fun.
It's been a
It
fun
was fun.
conversation. Bringing the
It
Always
has
vibe
fun.
back.
definitely
Always
so
fun.
fun. Well, I guess we'll wrap up unless anybody else has anything to say, and you guys can enjoy the rest of your weekend. If you're Good Friday, you celebrate, and happy Easter to anyone who celebrates. So glad that you guys could take some time out of your busy day to be with me on 5D all day. Woo!
We love it.
Woohoo.
Yes, I love it. I love you guys, and we will
Love
see you
you.
next month.
Yep.
All
See you
right.
next month.
All right, have a
Bye,
good one.
ladies.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Recording stop.